Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. The food experience is back. In today's experience, I'm going to make some white bread all the way from scratch in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven. I went ahead and went on Amazon and ordered a couple of these silicone bread molds. Hopefully they work out good, so it's kind of a test of these, and I will post a link for where you could get these if it works out okay in the description down below. So first things first, we got to go ahead and prepare the yeast. Let's go ahead and do that. First thing you want to start with is a cup of warm water, and it should be around 100 to 110 degrees. And let's go ahead and check this one. It's at 109 degrees. Perfect. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and add a full packet of active dry yeast, which I'm going to go ahead and do. Make sure to get every last bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and stir it up a little bit. Next, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of white sugar to it, pure cane white sugar. Go ahead and give it a little stir again. And we're going to set it aside for about 5 minutes. That way it could do its thing. I'm going to go ahead in a stand mixer and put 1.5 cups of flour. That was 1 3/4 cups flour. And also I want to note that is bread flour I'm using. It's not all-purpose flour. Also, you want to add 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now we're going to add a cup of warm water. Let's lower the mixer. I have the dough hook installed right now. And you want to go ahead and mix this on medium speed until it comes together. Meanwhile, the yeast mixture has definitely foamed up and risen. That way you know the yeast is active. Now we're going to go ahead and add the yeast. And now you want to add another 1 3/4 cups of bread flour. And you want to let that go for about 5 minutes until everything comes together and it stops sticking from the edge of the bowl. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1 tablespoon at a time. And you're going to hear it kind of slapping against the bowl. That's normal. Just let it go. You might notice the dough come apart a little. It will get back together. Now we're going to add a 2nd tablespoon of butter. And you can see it's all coming back together. It's not sticking to the sides of the bowl anymore. And we're just going to let that continue for a little while longer. Couple minutes. You want to make sure everything's well incorporated, that the butter has fully worked its way through the dough. Alright, that should be good. Let's go ahead and raise it. And it's going to be sticky. It's going to be a little bit sticky and tacky. It shouldn't totally stick to your fingers, but it's definitely going to be very, very tacky, okay? And you just want to kind of get as much as you can off the dough hook. Like I said, it's tacky, but it's not totally making a mess sticking all over me, you know? You could always add a little bit more bread flour if you feel it's too moist. But we're also going to be rolling this out and kneading it on a floured surface. So try not to add too much bread flour. Next, I got my work surface, and you want to sprinkle some flour on there so that the dough doesn't stick, but not too much, okay? Kind of spread it out a little bit. Then go ahead and grab the dough. We're going to knead it. Basically what you want to do is fold it over itself. Use the palm of your hand to press forward, turn it, and you want to keep doing this. For a few minutes until the dough feels like it's got an elastic quality to it. And it will take a few minutes, so be patient with it. But just keep folding it over, rotate it around, fold it over again, and just repeat. And I can already tell it's starting to come together. And it's turning nice and smooth if you notice. That's pretty good right there. And then what you could do is kind of turn it with a downward pressure and kind of make it into a ball, if you will. Next, I'm going to use some unsalted butter and grease up this bowl a bit, okay? Definitely get the sides. Hopefully you can see this. I'm not able to see the camera. But you want to get the sides knowing that this is going to rise, okay? That should be good. Then go ahead and take your dough, put it inside the bowl, maybe even roll it around a little bit. That way it prevents the dough from drying out. Then I got some plastic wrap, and I'm going to go ahead and spray that a little bit with cooking spray. And go ahead and take that and cover the bowl. Next, you want to insert the wire rack into the Bake 1 proofing position in the Max. And then go ahead, put it in oven, turn it to proof. Default's 100 degrees, that should be fine. Default's 1 hour. I'm going to add a little extra time just in case, you never know. Basically what we're going to do is wait for the dough to double in size. I'm going to start that, and we're going to go ahead and insert the bowl with the dough into the Max. Alright, the dough has been proofing about 45 minutes. We're going to take a look at it. Oh yeah, it's ready. It's definitely more than ready. Going to go ahead and turn that off. Check it out. Let me go ahead and remove this. Check that out. It rose up quite a bit. Alright, next thing you want to do is turn the dough out back onto a floured surface. And you should be able to press it out easily. It should be very, very pliable. And what we're looking for is to try to get a 7 by 7 square. Okay? Alright, so that's approximately 7 by 7 right there. So you want to take the top of the dough and fold it down about 2/3 the length of the bread, or the dough. Then you want to fold the bottom up till it hits the edge right there. So with floured hands, basically what you want to do is kind of tuck it under and pinch at the same time to kind of form a seal. Now I've never done this before, but I was watching quite a few YouTube videos on how to do it, and it seemed consistent from what everyone was doing. So we're going to go ahead and gently turn the dough up so that the seam is right there on the center on the top. Then you want to fold in the sides best you can. And you could kind of also give them a little bit of a pinch. And next you want to go ahead and grab a bread pan. This is a silicone one that I'm testing, and I have buttered it quite extensively on the sides and the bottom. And what you want to do is take the bread and invert it so that the seam side goes down, and then kind of tuck it in on the sides till it's in there pretty evenly. And now I'm going to take the same plastic wrap and put it back on over it. But I'm not going to leave it tight because you want to leave room, because this is going to go ahead and rise. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put the Max back on oven, go over to proof, start it, and let's go ahead and put the loaf in. And once it doubles in size, or it kind of crests over the top, then I know it's going to be finished, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, it's been about a half hour, and I can clearly see that it has doubled in size. I'm going to remove it. And you can see it's crowning over the top. And I'm going to let it set out, because what we're going to do is preheat the max to 425 degrees. You want it up to temperature before that loaf goes in. I'm going to go ahead and take the wire rack, move it up to the bake to position, go to oven, leave it on bake, and I'm going to go ahead and set the time way up. It doesn't really matter. I just like working with extra time. I'm going to leave it at an hour, and I'm going to set it at 4 1/4 and hit start stop. Let it preheat. About 15 minutes later, I'm going to go ahead and put the loaf in. All right, it's been a little bit less than 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and remove the plastic wrap. It's definitely risen quite a bit. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and put it in at 425 degrees for 15 minutes, and then we're going to reduce the temperature. So let me go ahead and select 15 minutes. You could do it on the fly without turning off the max. There we go, 15 minutes. Open the doors and go ahead and insert it. Boy, that's really close to the elements. Not so sure if this is going to be a good idea or not, but we're going to find out. So here we go, 15 minutes and away we go. You know, my intuition is telling me to move it down a level. I'm going to do that real quick. 425 degrees, says 14 minutes left. I'll just let it go a little longer. And we'll be right back. Also, a side note, it looks like one of the sides is deflated a little bit. And I know that could happen from overproofing. Hoping this comes out okay. Like I said, this is my first time ever. And if it fails, I'm still going to post the video. And it just means I need to try it again. All right, 15 minutes has completed. We're going to go back to oven. And we're going to set it for, I'm going to say 40 minutes. It's supposed to be 40 to 45 minutes. And at 375, and we're going to let it go. I'm almost thinking about moving it up now so that the top gets brown. It has 20 more minutes to go, and I don't want to overcook the bottom of it. So, yeah, my intuition's telling me move it up. Let's give that a try. All right, moved it up to the regular bake to position, and we'll finish the rest of the process this way. It has 19 minutes remaining before it hits the 40-minute mark. Let's go. So it's got 8 minutes left. I'm starting to notice a little bit of a burnt smell. Yeah, I could tell on this side where it's risen up really high. It's kind of dark there, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to let it finish. Let's let it continue. It definitely doesn't look like it did in the picture, I'll tell you that much. All right, 40 minutes is up, okay? 40 plus the 15 that I started with. So let's go ahead and remove it and see what we're looking at. Yeah, it did get a little dark, like right here, but the rest of it kind of looks okay. What you got to do is use a temperature probe to see if it reached 190 degrees inside. You're supposed to do it from the side, but I'm going to go from an angle from one of the corners here. 203 on that side. Let me go from the side over here. Yeah, it's definitely in the 200 range, so I think we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the max. And what you got to do is let it cool down for about 10 minutes. Actually, I don't even have to wait the 10 minutes. Let me bring it down, and we're going to take this out. I kind of felt it, and it's not sticking to it at all. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove it, just like that. Came out nice and easily. Feels a little crusty on top. Not sure if that's normal. All right, I went ahead and melted some salted butter, and we're just going to brush it on the top. Still don't have a lot of faith in this loaf of bread, but we'll find out. But I love butter top bread. I usually buy Home Pride, which is butter top, which I really like. But yeah, that should do it. So we need to let the bread cool down all the way, because believe it or not, it's still finishing up inside and it's still kind of cooking as it cools down. So be right back in probably about a half hour. Wow, I tried filming cutting into the bread and I cut off a bunch of slices, but for some reason it didn't film. So I'll demonstrate it again. Let me put these aside. Um, it's really actually really good and spongy and nice and soft in the middle. The top is a little bit crusty, but let's go ahead and cut it. I mean, it cuts pretty nice and everything. It's just got like a nice crusty top to it, you know? But yeah, let's go back up top and we'll try to use it. All right, so I went ahead and cut up some slices. Unfortunately, the first few slices, I thought the camera was rolling and it wasn't rolling. Anyhow, here's what we're looking at right here. And you could kind of almost see through it if you pull it apart. It's very nice and soft in the middle. Good flavor. The only thing that went really wrong is I think there was just a little bit too much dough and it went up and over the outside too much. So next time, I'm definitely going to use a little bit less dough. I'll just break off a little bit before I put it in the bread pan. But I will say these silicone bread pans absolutely work. Nothing stuck to it. I mean, you could see by looking in it, it's really nice and clean. So a couple things we're going to do. I mean, I'll tell you what, this tastes good. All right, now I'm going to test it against a slice of Stater Brothers white bread. Okay. Mine has like a nice crunchy top. Some may like it, some may not like it like that. The bread from the market is actually a little bit sweeter. Tell you what, I actually prefer the loaf I made. It's really good white bread, I'll tell you what. So we're going to run a couple tests real quick. Let's go ahead and put a slice in the Max and set it on toast, which it really doesn't matter what setting you use. Put the rack back in and let's go ahead and try toasting a slice, right? While that's going, I'm going to go ahead and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Why not? You know, I love PB&Js. I'm going to use some Skippy creamy peanut butter. And also I got this organic European strawberry fruit spread. It's so good. Almost down to the last bit too. So let's see how the peanut butter spreads. Definitely holding its shape nicely. It's soft in the middle, but not quite as soft as the store bread. But then again, they got a whole bunch of preservatives and other junk that you don't even really need in bread. But of course, they have to have it for a longer shelf life, you know. Something like this is not going to last out as long as a regular loaf of white bread. All right, let's go ahead and get some strawberry on there. I wish I had some spicy strawberry jam. I've had some before, some with scorpion pepper. You know, that's not a bad idea. Hold on. Hold the phone here. I got scorpion powder. And it may not be quite the same thing, but this stuff is super hot. I'll tell you right now, a little goes a long way. Alright, so I spiced it up a little bit. And I know you're probably thinking, why would you want spicy jam? Because I'm a chili head, that's why. Alright, let's go ahead and give this a shot. That's good. Yummers. It is actually really good with peanut butter and jelly. I can imagine with some deli meats, it's probably really good. The top reminds me of, you get like a baguette of French bread and it has kind of like a crusty outside. That's how the top portion reminds me of. Oh yeah, there's some nice heat with that powder I just put on. Oh, that's got some nice heat to it. Oh, man. All right, toast cycle is done. That doesn't mean it's ready, but it's at least done with the cycle. Normally I preheat when I make toast, but let's check out how this is. So yeah, I did toast a little bit around the top here. Actually, it toasted all along the top and bottom, I could tell. Turn that off. It's crunchy, but it's not overly hard. Try with some butter. All right. That's actually really good. The recipe for this, I'll post a link in the description down below to the recipe where I got this from. I forget the guy's name. It's a chef. And I know I saw like a Martha Stewart logo there. But it wasn't the Martha Stewart channel. Anyhow, I'll post a link to that video in the description down below. And I'm definitely going to work on this and try it again and try to get it a little bit more perfected. But I dig it. That's some really good bread. I mean, it's so simple. Not too many ingredients and no preservatives. No funny business, you know? So if you guys have any ideas about making bread or anything like that, or you could see anything I did that was maybe room for improvement, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm not a know-it-all. In fact, I really don't know anything about baking. I just went ahead and followed someone else's steps. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I got lots of good stuff coming, and I'm going to wish you all a very stellar day. Be excellent, and most of all, remember me. I'm KJ Andy O, your food experience host with the most. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time. Laters.